Whoops. Here we go. Now we're recording. And so that was powerful. And then for it to happen again on Tuesday, just automatically without any sort of discussion, like we didn't have to discuss any of that. You made those decisions on your own terms. And that was a really powerful way in which I feel like I was given to. I was able to receive your care, because those days, I don't know that I could have handled anything on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved your executive decision come Wednesday, where you said, okay, I need to get out of this house. I need to find some rhythm and some structure and some masculine energy breathe that back into my life. And I'm going to go. And I loved the text. It was so beautiful. It says, if you need me, I'll be home in a heartbeat. And it was just powerful to receive. I still felt like you were here with me, even though you were physically at the office on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole week has just been powerful in so many different ways. And the way that you have just consistently chosen to care for me and show up for me is always beautiful. And it was just even more beautiful over the past several days. So thank you so much for just prioritizing my health and well-being, especially during the moments where it is, a little harder to take care of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And full disclosure, we don't have small kids at home. We don't have kids. We don't have pets at home. So yeah, there was the mantle of caring for you is there. And I understand there are so many folks who are on the call who are married and have kids and, or have, other responsibilities outside of their spouse. And so it can be really, really challenging when energies are shifted. This is a fantastic lesson, certainly for us and for us to express here on this live conversation, to say that it's absolutely okay. In fact, it's healthy for the opposite pole energy to step forward for a season, for a moment, for short term. Thank you. Again, you come through with your brilliant vocabulary on the short term, and why it feels so dysregulating. And as I said earlier in this conversation, I said how over a couple of days it began to feel weary for the masculine energy to be in that nurturing role. For a short term, it was exhilarating because I got to shift and give and provide some structure around this discombobulation of illness and sickness for Paige. But I think if it continues, and this is why it's so difficult in health related issues with couples, long term can be really, really dysregulating. And our hearts and minds and souls go out to all of those of you who are watching this that have a situation like that you have been a caregiver, caretaker for a spouse over a long period of health related issues. And that can be really, really, really challenging. And I know just for 3 or 4 days, it was challenging for my masculine giving energy to be more in a nurturance role. And so again, to reiterate what you just said, Paige, when you said, and took the bold executive decision to step back into my masculine energy, into my routine, to step forward, ensuring, and with that caveat of allowing Paige to leverage her voice. If she said, David, I need you. I need you here today. I would have, packed up here at the office and come home and provided that care, of course. So I think it was a beautiful symphony of us stepping into feminine and masculine, and you allowing, you giving the space for me to lead and to step into that. And I think it also, we haven't even discussed this, I think it also allowed you to say, okay, it's time and I'm feeling a little better. And what can I do? And you had a day yesterday where you got to step into your feminine energy of more healing, of getting outdoors a couple of times and really taking care of yourself, which was really beautiful.
Yeah, I would agree. Something comes up so when speaking about sickness, so you mentioned at the top of the call, so sickness can be anything. Sure, we were dealing with physical sickness this week, but there is this emotional sickness that is definitely very present and often overlooked. It's not often like seen as an illness or sickness, when really those are our wounded parts, our shadow self, the parts of us that are begging for healing too. Just like my physical body was begging for healing over the past several days, our emotional body seeks healing too. And so we can show up for our partners and show up or support them as they navigate the healing of those particular layers, those particular parts of themselves too. I think the asterisk on this here, the line, is that we want to be able to empathize and support them through their healing without enabling them and building codependent bonds, codependent patterns. And that is a tricky line. And often it takes some ebb and flow. Very likely you're going to bounce back and forth a little bit before you can zero in on the harmony that feels best for you and your partnership. Because if the person isn't longing for healing, so say, for example, back to the physical side, if I was just choosing to still be in bed, I was choosing to just kind of lean into this, whatever the last 4 days have been. And I really was just kind of milking that or feeling like that's what I was doomed to. Like that's where I was just going to stay and wallow with how crummy I felt. Then it would be your responsibility to hold your boundaries without enabling me. And so I loved how that kind of happened yesterday when you chose to go into the office while providing the support that says, if you do need me, just use your voice, let me know. And so on the emotional side of things, if our partner continues to experience the same illness, the same wounded behaviors and wounded patterns over and over and over again, ultimately, we have to begin holding our boundaries so that we can continue to conserve and preserve ourselves while also empathizing with them, but not enabling them to remain in that wounded energetic, in that sickness, in that illness.
Yeah. I love that you pivoted and turned that corner and really brought it back to our work and to say, because so often, well, almost exclusively, folks will come to us in the context of a relationship to say, hey, my partner is not interested in healing, or they are struggling with these particular emotional wounds. And of course, the physical is what we've been talking about on this call. But more to the point, those emotional wounds are theirs to heal. And when we begin to coddle, when we begin to enable, when we begin to save, when we begin to want to fix them, that's when we trauma bond and go into those levels of codependency. I have been there. I know you have been there. We've certainly seen evidence of that in our relationship in the past, but I thought this week was a beautiful symbiosis, a symphony of us leaning into our core energies. So on those days that I was remaining home, I still worked, right? There's another boundary. I could have just been at bated breath, just waiting, for Paige to call upon me. That is codependency. That is me stepping even deeper into a wounded feminine energy to go, what do you need? What do you need? I'm here for you, no matter what, right? You can even see in my energy as I'm acting this out, right? It feels very passive. It feels very codependent. And that it, in essence, is a trauma bond. And instead I said, hey, I have this call at this time. I'm going to be out here, right? And okay, he is still holding those calls while still remaining present and available for you during your illness. The same is true with emotional sickness, emotional wounding. Is when Paige is navigating her own trauma wounding, when I'm navigating my own trauma wounding, it's the partner's responsibility to hold space and support the trauma healing, not fix them. This is so important. And we've said this so many different ways in that it is imperative that we understand that a relationship is the support of the other partner's trauma healing. That's it. That's what a relationship is. And in essence, that's what I was doing this week. It was a different type of wounding, right? It was a physical wounding. Paige was feeling under the weather. But I still held my ground. I still held those boundaries while leading her, while providing care and nurturance for her. So what a beautiful experience. I just love that we get to share this, and I'm glad that we brought this to the call. So,
Mhm. It could even be extrapolated out much deeper too. And I posted this in my private surrender group with the ladies that are navigating our surrender program, Surrender 1, Surrender 2. And there was definitely an emotional component too. There always is an emotional component because that's what life is all about. Life is emotional and we are emotional beings. And there were parts of me that wanted to just toughen up and just get up and brush it off and I'll be okay, simply because I wanted to be included. I wanted to be a part of whatever was going on around us. And I wanted to hang out with you, and I wanted to watch what you were watching, and I wanted to eat what you were eating, and I wanted to hang out and do what we usually do, adventure, activity, etc.
mhm,
And then I had other parts just felt complete defeat by day 3, by day 4. Like, oh my
mhm,
gosh, how long is this going to last? Am I getting better? That's where that part began to speak and chime in. And then I had other parts that were mad at the timing. The timing is so terrible for this because I have a big project that's due. And when is this project going to get done? And I feel overwhelmed and I feel late and I feel behind. And so there was a lot of lessons in there that taught me how to prioritize patience and come back to the self while hearing and honoring those parts of me that were coming forward to express their discomfort.
mhm. Yeah. So, so powerful. I'm even continuing to glean lessons from this experience, even as we're speaking here live. So let's bring this conversation to a close. As we often say, great conversations are never completed; they're just put on pause. But we'll for this time, we'll put on this conversation on pause. We want to highlight a couple of things. So our next coaching event is this coming Monday, March 6th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you are interested in joining us, Paige and I will be live on Zoom. We do this once a month on the first Monday night of every month. If you want to join us this coming Monday night, March 6th, if you have burning questions about your relationships, about conflict, about sex, about intimacy, about masculine and feminine energy and trauma healing and all the things that we navigate, if you would love some support, we will be there live. And to host, everyone who shows up puts their hand up and says, hey, I have a question. So if you want to be a part of that event, you must register, and we'll drop the link. If you want the link, say, hey, I want the link, I want to register, and we'll send you a direct message with that link, and you can join us this coming Monday. But you got to register in order to get the Zoom link in order to do that. What else? Anything else? Other announcements you want to talk?
Yeah, I mean, we're always inviting new women. If settling into your feminine energy and coming home to your body and learning how to take care of your physical and emotional health. Emotional health is king, is queen to me, and trumps the physical body always. The physical body will follow after the emotional body when the emotional body feels safe. And so my programs offer a lot of modalities and activities and exercises to teach you how to build trust and safety with your body. Because when you can build the trust and safety within your body, that's when you can begin to heal some of these wounded behaviors and patterns and energetics that are coming forward in your life and in your reality. And so if any of that sounds interesting and like a journey that you're ready to continue and or just simply begin, then there's a couple of options. Surrender is going to be a really, really, really great starting place for you. It is a 10, soon to be 12-week program, a 12-week program where you get to navigate 5 different modules. We'll talk a lot about masculine, feminine energetics, the wounded and integrated aspects of each. We will also talk about somatic healing, how to connect to the body, honoring certain emotions, and then we continue to dive deeper into the feminine body from there. So that could be a really, really, really great place for you to start. We would love to welcome you into our private community to meet all of the other surrender ladies. If you're looking for a little smaller step, a little baby step, then we do have a 7-day mini course that might interest you.
Fantastic. And as always, I work with both men and women on a one-on-one coaching basis. So if you're interested on what that container looks like, where we really dive into everything that's going on with you, certainly from my masculine perspective. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, that is a service I exclusively provide. And so you can find out all the information. If you want information about all those things, drop a comment in the section and say, hey, I want information on this, and we'll connect with you and provide that information that you seek. All right. I think that's all we got.
That's all we got for now.
I think it's time to go. Baby.
Thank you for caring for me. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome, sweetie. Thank you for following my lead. I love you so much, sweetie.
Love you too.
All right.
See you next time.
Thanks, friends. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.